Welcome back to the channel. Before we begin, I need you to understand something. This is not entertainment. This is a warning. Today, we're exploring one of the most psychologically devastating fates in Skyrim's lore, the enthralled mages of Labyrinthian, and what it truly means to have your mind stolen. Imagine being trapped inside your own body for decades, fully conscious, fully aware, screaming inside your own skull, while something ancient and inhuman uses you like a puppet. This is the true horror of Morokei's victims, not death, but the complete erasure of self while you're still alive to witness it. Through the fragmented testimony of one survivor, we'll descend into the nightmare of magical enthrallment, where freedom and slavery blur into something far worse than either. This is the story of what happens when a dragon priest reaches into your mind and pulls the strings, and why death would have been mercy. And if you genuinely enjoy this kind of dark storytelling, consider subscribing and liking the channel, but only if it truly resonates with you. I need you to understand something before we go any further. This is not a story. This is not entertainment. This is a warning, wrapped in the last rational thoughts I have left to give you. My name does not matter anymore. What I was before this happened, who I loved, what I believed in, all of that is gone now, burned away like morning frost under a sun that should never have risen. But I remember the moment it started. I remember the exact second my life stopped being mine. It was the staff, that cursed, glowing staff. I was part of an expedition, you see. A group of mages from the college, young and stupid, and so convinced of our own brilliance that we walked straight into Labyrinthian like we owned the place. We thought we were explorers. We thought we were scholars. We were prey, and we were too arrogant to know it. The others died quickly. I almost envy them for that. But two of us, we made it to the final chamber. We saw him there, Morokei, the dragon priest they call Glorious. He was waiting in that throne room deep in the ruins, surrounded by the blue light of the staff of Magnus. That light, it was beautiful. It was hypnotic. It was the last thing I saw before my mind stopped being my own. The staff pulsed once, twice, and then the world turned inside out. Have you ever felt your thoughts stop belonging to you? Have you ever screamed inside your own head while your mouth forms words you would never say? That is what mind control feels like. Not like sleep, not like a dream. You are awake for every second of it. You are present for every horror. You are a passenger in your own body, and the driver is something ancient and cold and utterly inhuman. The first thing I felt was the weight. Not physical weight, but the crushing pressure of another consciousness pressing down on mine like a boot on an insect. Morokei's mind, if you can even call it that, settled over my thoughts like oil over water. Everything I was got pushed down, compressed into a tiny screaming corner of my own skull, while something else took the controls. My arms moved. I did not move them. My mouth spoke. I did not speak. And through it all, I watched. I had to watch. Savos, our leader, he was there in that chamber. He saw what happened to us. He saw the moment Morokei's magic seized control, saw our eyes go blank and distant. I tried to warn him. I screamed at him from inside my own head, begged him to run, to seal the doors, to do anything except what he did. But the words that came out of my mouth were not mine. They were calm. They were measured. They told him everything was fine. He knew better. Savos was smart enough to see the truth. He ran. He sealed the entrance behind him. And he left us there, trapped, holding a magical barrier around Morokei with our own hands, our own power, funneled through us like we were nothing more than conduits for his will. That was decades ago, maybe longer. Time stops meaning much when you are a prisoner inside yourself. You want to know what it is like, really like, to be enthralled by a dragon priest. Let me paint you a picture with the only words I have left that are truly mine. Imagine your body is a house. You have lived there your whole life. You know every room, every corner, every creaking floorboard. Then one day, something breaks down your door and moves in. It does not ask permission. It does not negotiate. It takes your favorite chair and sits in it. It uses your hands to eat your food. It walks around in your skin like it owns the place. And you get shoved into the crawl space under the stairs. You can see out through the cracks. You can hear everything, but you cannot move. You cannot speak. You cannot do anything except watch the thing wearing you like a coat go about its business. That is enthrallment. That is what Morokei did to us. The worst part, and listen to me carefully because this is important, the worst part is not the loss of control, it is the awareness. If you could just sleep through it, just close your eyes and wake up when it was over, maybe you could survive it with your sanity intact. But you do not get that mercy. You are awake. You are present. Every single moment of every single day, you are there, watching your body betray everything you ever were. I watched my hands channel magic into the barrier around Morokei. Hour after hour, day after day, year after year, the spell never faltered. My body never grew tired, never complained, never rested. Morokei made sure of that. He needed us functional. He needed us strong. So we stood there, two guardian statues made of meat and bone, holding him in his prison while our minds rotted away in the dark. And through it all, I felt him, the dragon priest. His thoughts bled into mine like ink into water. I felt his hatred for being trapped. I felt his contempt for the mortals who had dared challenge the dragons. I felt his hunger for the staff of Magnus, that artifact of impossible power that he clutched even in his sealed tomb. His thoughts were not like human thoughts. They were vast and alien and utterly wrong, like trying to comprehend the dreams of something that has been dead for 1,000 years. Sometimes I caught fragments of his memories. The Merethic era, when dragons ruled the skies and men cowered in their shadows. The great temples where thousands gathered to worship, to offer tribute, to kneel before the dragon cult's priests. The power he wielded then, the armies he commanded, with nothing more than a word and a gesture. Hevnoraak, another priest, he was the master of this art. Mind control was his specialty. He built entire legions of enthralled disciples, good men twisted into empty shells that followed his every command. Morokei envied that power. He wanted it. He studied it. And now I understand why. When you can reach into someone's mind and pull the strings, when you can turn a human being into a puppet with their eyes open and their soul screaming, you have power that no sword or spell can match. You have the ultimate control. You have stolen not just their body, but their future, their choices, their very identity. I have stood in this chamber for so long that I have forgotten what sunlight looks like. I have forgotten the taste of food, the feeling of wind on my face, the sound of my own laughter. Those things belong to the person I used to be, and that person might as well be dead. What remains is a hollow thing, a ghost haunting its own corpse, waiting for an ending that never comes. Do you understand now? Do you see why this is not a story? This is a confession. This is a testimony. This is the last coherent thought of someone who has spent more time as a prisoner than as a free man. And if you ever find yourself in a place where ancient magic sleeps, where dragon priests lie buried in their tombs of stone and ice, I need you to remember what I am telling you. Run. Do not investigate. Do not explore. Do not convince yourself that you are brave enough or smart enough or powerful enough to handle what lies inside, because you are not. None of us were. And once that magic takes hold, once those ancient minds reach out and seize control of your thoughts, there is no escape, there is no rescue. There is only the waiting and the watching and the slow dissolution of everything that made you human. Morokei is still here. I can feel him even now, a cold presence at the edge of my consciousness. He is patient, he is eternal, and he is so very hungry for the world outside these walls. What do you think really happened here? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I would like to know if I am the only one who feels this way. The barrier holds. My hands continue their work without my permission, and somewhere deep in the crawl space of my own mind, I scream in a voice no one can hear. The thing about prolonged enthrallment is that you start to lose pieces of yourself, not all at once, not like a clean cut. It happens slowly, like erosion, like watching a statue wear down under centuries of rain. I have forgotten my mother's face. I know I had a mother once. Everyone does. But when I try to picture her, try to remember the shape of her smile or the color of her eyes, there is nothing there. Just static, just empty space where a memory should be. Morokei does not care about my mother. He does not need that information. So it faded away, discarded like broken furniture from a house that is no longer mine. This is what they do not tell you about mind control. It is not just about what you are forced to do, it is about what you lose in the process. Your mind is not infinite, your consciousness has limits. And when something else moves in, when an ancient intelligence parks itself in your skull and starts using your brain like a workshop, things get pushed out to make room. Memories, feelings, the tiny fragments of personality that made you who you were. I think I had a name once. I am almost certain of it, but I cannot remember what it was. The other one, the mage who was trapped here with me, I have watched them across the chamber for all these years. We stand on opposite sides of the barrier, our hands raised, our magic flowing endlessly into the spell that keeps Morokei contained. I wonder if they remember their name. I wonder if they remember anything at all. We cannot speak to each other. We cannot break formation even for a second. But sometimes I catch a flicker in their eyes, a momentary flash of something that might be awareness, might be recognition, might be the same desperate prisoner consciousness that hides in my own skull. There is a strange camaraderie in that, a fellowship of the damned. We are both prisoners in our own bodies, both slaves to the same master, both watching helplessly as the years consume us. I cannot help them, they cannot help me, but we see each other, and in a world where you have lost everything else, being seen matters. Morokei speaks through us sometimes, not often. But when adventurers stumble into these ruins, when foolish treasure hunters or would-be heroes make it past the Draugr and the traps and the skeletal dragon that guards the upper chambers, he likes to taunt them. He uses our mouths to form the words. He uses our voices to deliver his threats. I have heard my own voice, my own vocal cords, speak the dragon language, Dovazul, the words of power that the ancient priests wielded like weapons. Woe my Zwa di Vuljunar, who comes to my dark kingdom? The words come out perfect, flawless, because Morokei knows the language like breathing, but they are not my words. I never learned Dovazul. I was a student of destruction magic and ward spells. I could barely pronounce the simplest th-um. Yet there I am, my mouth forming syllables that predate the first era, my tongue shaping sounds that dragons taught, their most devoted servants. And, all the while, the real me, the prisoner me, is screaming. Screaming for help that will never come. Screaming for release that Morokei will never grant. The dragon priests, you need to understand this, they were granted power beyond mortal comprehension. The dragons gave them knowledge of the voice, taught them to speak in the language of creation itself. They could command with a word, they could destroy with a breath. And some of them, the truly ambitious ones like Hevnoraak and Morokei, they learned to do something even worse. They learned to reach into a person's mind and rewrite their will. Hevnoraak was the master of this particular horror. The texts in the college library, the ones I read when I was still myself, they spoke of his ability to enthrall entire armies. Good men, honest men, farmers and soldiers, and merchants, all twisted into hollow servants who could not disobey even as they begged themselves to stop. He would torture them, and they would thank him for it. He would order them to commit atrocities, and they would do so with smiles on their faces and tears streaming from their eyes. Fear kept them in line, the stories said. But I think it was something deeper than fear. I think it was the knowledge that resistance was impossible. When your own body betrays you, when your own voice speaks words you hate, when your own hands commit acts you find reprehensible, what choice do you have except to break? I have not broken, not yet. I cling to this tiny corner of consciousness like a drowning man clings to driftwood. I hold on to the knowledge that I am still here, still aware, still fighting even though the fight is invisible and futile. But I can feel the cracks forming. I can feel my sanity, my sense of self, starting to splinter under the weight of decades spent as a puppet. Memory gaps are common. I will be standing here, channeling magic into the barrier, and suddenly hours have passed, or days, or weeks. Time becomes liquid and strange when you are not in control of your own perception. Morokei does not need me to be aware for the spell to work. He only needs my body, my magic, my life force. So sometimes he pushes me down deeper, buries me in the darkness at the bottom of my own mind, and I cease to exist for a while. Those gaps terrify me more than anything else. Because when I surface again, when I claw my way back to awareness, I do not know what happened. I do not know what my body did. I do not know what Morokei made me witness or participate in during that lost time. Did he use me to attack someone? Did he force me to speak curses or cast spells? Did my hands commit violence while I was gone? I wake up, if you can call it waking, with blood on my robes sometimes. Not my blood, someone else's. And I do not remember how it got there. That is the true nightmare of enthrallment. Not just the loss of control, but the gaps, the missing hours, the blank spaces where terrible things happened and you were present but not present, there but not there, responsible but not responsible. How do you live with yourself after that? How do you reconcile the person you were with the thing you have become? The answer is simple. You do not. You cannot. You just endure. I have watched through these eyes as Savos came back years later, not to free us, not to end our suffering. He came to retrieve the staff of Magnus, to stop some new threat at the college. He brought another with him, a young adventurer or student, I could not tell which. They fought through the ruins, they triggered all the defenses, and when they finally reached this chamber, when they stood at the entrance and saw us standing here with our hands raised and our magic flowing, I saw recognition flash across Savos's face. He knew what he had done to us. He knew what we had become. And he was sorry. I saw it in his eyes. Genuine regret, genuine pain, but not enough to stop what came next. Because the only way to reach Morokei, the only way to claim the staff, was to break the barrier. And the only way to break the barrier was to kill us, to kill the enthralled mages holding it in place, to kill the prisoners who had been suffering for decades in service of a spell we never agreed to cast. I wanted to scream at him. I wanted to beg. I wanted to explain that I was still in here, still conscious, still desperately clinging to the last fragments of who I used to be. But my mouth would not move. My voice would not come. Morokei held me silent, forced me to maintain the spell, made me complicit in my own execution. If you have ever wondered what choice you would make in a situation like this, tell me in the comments. I will be reading them. The adventurer attacked first. An arrow, I think, or a spell, something that struck my companion across the chamber. Their barrier wavered, their magic faltered, and in that moment, in that brief flickering instant when the spell began to fail, I felt something I had not felt in decades. Hope. The barrier dropped. Morokei was free. And my hands, my cursed hands that had been frozen in position for so long, finally lowered. The spell ended, the channeling stopped, and for the first time in longer than I could remember, I had a split second of control. I tried to speak. I tried to warn them. I tried to say anything that might matter, anything that might make this whole nightmare mean something, but the words would not come. Decades of enforced silence had robbed me of the ability. My throat would not work, my tongue would not move. I was free from the spell, but still trapped in the prison of my own broken body. And then Morokei turned his attention to the intruders. The staff of Magnus glowed in his skeletal hands. The dragon priest, finally released from his containment, finally able to move and act and channel his full terrible power, prepared to destroy these new interlopers. But something was different this time. Something was wrong. The adventurer was not like us. They were not a helpless mage student who wandered into a trap. They were something else, something stronger. They fought back. And for the first time in all my years of imprisonment, I allowed myself to wonder if liberation might be possible. Not for me. I was too far gone, too broken, too hollowed out. But maybe, just maybe, this could end. Maybe the monster who had stolen my life could finally die. If this story has kept you listening this far, and you want more of these dark confessions from Skyrim, hit that subscribe button. It tells me someone out there is still paying attention to warnings like these. The battle was chaos, pure, screaming chaos, the kind that shatters the air and makes reality feel thin. Morokei unleashed everything. Decades of pent-up rage, centuries of accumulated power, all of it channeled through the staff of Magnus in waves of blue-white energy that drained magic from the air itself. I watched as the adventurer staggered, their magicka reserves depleting in seconds, their spells fizzling out before they could form. This was Morokei's specialty. This was what made him glorious. He did not just kill his enemies, he unmade them, stripped away their power and left them hollow. But this one was different. They adapted. They switched to weapons when magic failed. They used the pillars in the chamber for cover. They fought like someone who understood that survival sometimes means abandoning your pride and doing whatever works. And slowly, impossibly, they were winning. I felt it the moment Morokei realized he might lose. A spike of something that might have been fear or fury or both. His attention wavered. His control over me flickered. And in that fraction of a second, I was fully present in my own body for the first time in decades. I could move. I could breathe. I could think without the crushing weight of his consciousness bearing down on mine. It lasted maybe 3 seconds. 3 beautiful, terrible seconds of freedom. I tried to scream a warning, tried to tell the adventurer about the staff's power, about Morokei's weaknesses, about anything that might help. But my voice came out as a broken rasp, a sound barely human after so many years of disuse. Then the control snapped back into place. Morokei's will crashed down on me like a tidal wave, and I was shoved back into the crawl space of my own mind, forced to watch as he redirected his attention to the fight. The other enthralled mage, my fellow prisoner, had already fallen. An arrow or a spell, I could not tell which. Their body collapsed to the stone floor with a sound like breaking branches, and I felt something inside me crack when they fell, because they were the only other person who understood, the only other consciousness who knew what this was like. And now they were gone, and I was alone in ways I had never been alone before. The battle raged on. Fire and lightning, shouts and spells. The adventurer was relentless, pushing forward even as Morokei's magic tore at their defenses. And then, finally, a blade found its mark, or a spell, or whatever weapon of destiny this particular hero had chosen. Morokei staggered. The staff of Magnus clattered from his skeletal hands, and I felt his presence in my mind begin to dissolve, unraveling like smoke in wind. This is the part where I should tell you I was freed. That the death of the dragon priest broke his hold on me, restored my autonomy, gave me back the life he had stolen. That would be a good ending, a satisfying ending, the kind of ending that makes suffering feel meaningful. But that is not what happened. You do not spend decades as a prisoner in your own body and walk away whole. You do not endure that kind of violation and simply return to normal. The damage goes too deep. The scars are carved into the fundamental architecture of who you are. When Morokei died, when his consciousness finally released its grip on mine, I did not feel relief. I felt empty, hollow, like a house after a fire, all the furniture gone, just charred walls and the ghost of what used to be. My body was my own again. I could move my hands, I could turn my head. I could speak, though my voice was a ruined thing after so many years of silence. but I did not know what to do with any of it. I had forgotten how to be a person. I had forgotten what it meant to make choices, to have desires, to exist as something other than a vessel for someone else's will. The adventurer looked at me with something like pity. They asked if I was all right. The question was so absurd I almost laughed. Almost. But laughter was another thing I had forgotten how to do. I tried to explain, tried to tell them what had been done to me, what I had endured, what I had lost, but the words came out wrong, fractured, like pieces of several different sentences jammed together at random. My mind, so long compressed and suppressed and overwritten, could not quite figure out how to operate on its own anymore. There were gaps in my memory. Huge, yawning gaps. I could not remember what year it was, could not remember how long I had been trapped, could not remember if the people I had known before this nightmare were still alive, or if decades had passed and they were all dust now. The adventurer asked my name, and I stood there, mouth open, searching desperately through the wreckage of my mind for the answer. But it was gone. That simple, fundamental piece of identity. Gone. Erased. Lost somewhere in the decades of Morokei's occupation. I was free, but I was not saved. There is a difference. Freedom without self is just a different kind of prison. You walk around in your own body, but you do not recognize the person operating it. You make decisions, but they feel random, disconnected, like guessing at what a normal person would do in your situation. You exist, but you are not quite alive. This is what enthrallment does. This is the legacy it leaves behind. Not just the time stolen, but the person you used to be, erased so thoroughly that you cannot even remember their shape. I have heard stories of others who suffered similar fates. The people Hevnoraak enthralled, the armies he commanded, the servants who lined the halls of Valthum and performed unspeakable acts at his command. When he was finally bound by Valdar, when his power was sealed away, what happened to those people? Did they wake up with blood on their hands and madness in their eyes? Did they remember what they had done? Did they try to go home to families who no longer recognized them? Or did they do what I suspect most of them did? Did they walk into the frozen wilderness and simply not come back? Because that is the merciful option. That is the ending that makes sense when you have been hollowed out and filled with someone else's poison. You do not recover from this. You do not heal. You just exist in the aftermath, a ghost wearing human skin, waiting for the universe to notice you are already dead. The adventurer took the staff of Magnus and left. They had what they came for. A powerful artifact, a victory against an ancient evil, a story to tell. I do not blame them for leaving me behind. What could they do? What words exist that could possibly address what I had become? I stayed in that chamber for a while. Hours, maybe, or days. Time was still slippery, still strange. I looked at the spot where Morokei had stood, where his ash pile marked his final death. I looked at my hands, these hands that had channeled his magic for so long they barely felt like mine. I looked at the body of the other enthralled mage, my companion in suffering, and I wondered if they had been conscious at the end, if they had felt relief or terror or nothing at all. Eventually, I walked out of Labyrinthian, stumbled out, really. My legs barely remembered how to work without Morokei's will directing them. The ruins were quiet. The Draugr were destroyed. The traps were spent. It was just me and the cold stone and the terrible, crushing weight of freedom. I made it outside. Saw the sky for the first time in decades. It was grey, overcast. Snow was falling in soft, silent sheets. I stood there in the courtyard of the ancient ruin and tried to remember what I was supposed to do now. Where was I supposed to go? Who was I supposed to be? The answers would not come, because the person who knew those answers was dead, erased, overwritten by decades of Morokei's presence. I was what remained after the erasure, a fragment, an echo, a warning. This is what I need you to understand. This is why I am telling you this story. Why I am leaving this testimony for whoever might find it. Mind control is not like other magic. It is not a spell you shake off. It is not an enchantment that breaks when the caster dies. It is a violation that changes you at a fundamental level, that destroys the architecture of your identity and leaves you with nothing but rubble and the vague sense that you used to be someone. If you ever encounter a dragon priest, if you ever find yourself in one of those ancient tombs where they sleep in their sarcophagi, waiting for foolish adventurers to wake them, you need to run. Not because they will kill you. Death is quick. Death is merciful compared to what they can do. They will take your mind. They will take your will. They will take everything that makes you yourself and use it like a tool, like a resource, like something they own. And when they are done, when they finally release you, or die or lose interest, you will be free to walk away. But the person walking away will not be you. Not really. It will be something else, something broken, something that used to be human. I do not know how this ends for me. I do not know if I will find some way to rebuild a life from these fragments, or if I will simply fade away, a ghost that forgot it was supposed to be dead. I do not know if the gaps in my memory will fill in, or if I will spend whatever remains of my existence searching for pieces of myself that no longer exist. What I do know is this: Morokei is dead. The glorious dragon priest, the master of ancient magic, the keeper of the staff of Magnus. He is ash and memory now, but his victims, the people he enthralled and used and destroyed, we are still here, still walking, still breathing, still trying to figure out what it means to be human when the humanity has been scooped out of you. Liberation is not the same as freedom, and survival is not the same as living. Remember that. Remember me. Remember what can be taken from you if you are not careful, if you are not vigilant, if you wander into places where ancient evils sleep and wait for new bodies to wear. This is my confession. This is my warning. This is all I have left to give. May you never understand what I am talking about. May you never have to learn these lessons firsthand. And if you do, if you find yourself trapped in your own body with something else pulling the strings, I hope your ending comes quicker than mine did. I hope it ends while you are still you.